So for this mission, we'll be starting here at Ramat David in northern Israel. Once we taxi and take off, we head off to the northeast. We'll pass Nazareth, big munition depot here. Then we're going to pass over the Sea of Galilee and hit our first steer point, our initial point, IP number 1. And up ahead here, we have a bunch of red units. These are Syria units along the Golan Heights and Israeli self-defense units here to the west. Our primary target is going to be this artillery unit here. And around it, we have some APCs, some short-range air defense systems, as well as some long-range systems. At about 3 miles from the target, we'll check off 30 degrees to the east, then pull up 30 degrees and roll in a target with CCRP. And once we get indication of where that target is, we'll go ahead and switch it visual to CCIP and have a low altitude delivery. And we'll pull off to the west, duck into this valley here for some terrain masking, and head to the southwest, north of the Sea of Galilee, and then check off into the direction of Haifa. And at that point, then we'll recover at Ramat David. So that's our plan. Let's see how it works out. Alrighty, so welcome again to Ramat David here in northern Israel. We are in my trusty S16. We have 4 high drag Mark 82s loaded. And we have a flight of 2 S16s just took off ahead of us. Let's go ahead and join them and taxi the runway. And as you may have already noticed, Ugra has spent a lot of time and effort into putting a lot of great detail into the low altitude environment, whether it's here at one of these air bases, a town, a city, a port, what have you. Just an extraordinary amount of detail, which particularly when down low or in something like combined arms, it really looks pretty outstanding. And not just Ramat David here, but other bases in Israel like Megiddo, Haifa, and then in Turkey like Incirlik, and just the numerous airfields in Syria as well. Okay, let's get rolling. This wheel steering off. And rotate. Gear up. Okay, we're 350 off the burner. Let's go ahead to head off to steer point 1. And one of the first things you may notice here along the coast, particularly in Israel, it's quite a green place to fly around. Lots of trees and forest and crops. Very different from, say, the east side of the mountains over in Syria, where it's much more arid.
Altitude.
And very much a desert environment.
Altitude.
Well, up here on the right, this is Nazareth.
Altitude.
Okay, let's zero out our halo. That's better. Yeah, it's interesting. So like you look at the crops here, in other maps, a crop will just be a 2D texture, whereas Ugra went the extra mile here, and actually each individual piece of vegetation in a crop field is actually individually modeled. And particularly when you're down low and moving fast, that level of detail really pays off. Let's go fence in. Master arm on. Air to ground mode. And we can see our first steer point up ahead. It's a little inlet that feeds into the Sea of Galilee, which is a large body of water ahead of us. Off to the left, this is one of the many different military facilities scattered around the map. Israel, Syria, Turkey. These can be anywhere from munitions depots to army bases, obviously air bases, ports, what have you. Just a whole slew of stuff to bomb.
Altitude. Altitude.
Let's bring her down low over at the sea. And looking at the data link, we have a couple F-16s ahead of us hitting the same area. And the fires up ahead mark the battle location. And one thing you can really appreciate in this map is just the compressed nature of this battlefield. Just flying from Mont David into the Golan Heights is really just a few minutes of flight time. Very different environment than, say, flying around the Nevada or the Persian Gulf maps. See a Viper up ahead. So I got a visual on the initial point, the IP, so I'm going to go ahead and set my navigation to the next steer point, which is going to be the target location. And there's that little inlet. Okay, getting a spike. Keep low. So it looks like the target is at about 024. So for my pop-up tack, I want to be coming off to the right at 054. And then pop up 30 degrees for the rolling. Yeah, I'll initiate this tack at 3 miles out, 5 miles right now.
Pull up.
Nice rolling terrain, really great for helicopters. 3-3, 3-2, okay. Off to the right. And up. 30 degrees. Looking for the target. Countermeasures. Okay, look for my CCIP RP designation. Got it. Switch to CCIP for visual. Bombs away.
Flare.
It's okay. Air-to-air mode, and it's duck into this valley down here. Get a little terrain mask going.
Flare.
Okay, a successful pop-up bombing attack. We'll egress now to the south, out to the sea. And went to air-to-air mode to sanitize the airspace ahead of me. Let me cycle to the next 2 steer points. Someone's still taking a look at me. Okay, next steer point. Friendly egressing with me. And at this point, let's go fence out, master arm to off.